You're good.
Hello, welcome everybody to our second session in our series on Feel Your Body. Last time that we met, we covered very simple things such as the 5 food groups. Does anybody remember what those 5 food groups are? Raise your hands, please. Yeah, grains. Grains is one.
Vegetables.
Vegetables.
Fruit.
Fruits. What else? There's 2.
Dairy.
Dairy. And one more.
Protein.
Thank you very much. Good job. You guys learned so much last time. So today's session is going to be, we're going to be focusing a little bit more. So it's called Feel Your Child's Body. It's my responsibility. So what I'm going to be doing here today is, what is exactly your role as the parent and when you feed your child? How do we know what to serve, first of all, when to do it, why or how? And especially in the how that I'm going to be focusing on today. There are 2 concepts that I'll be covering. The first is called the division of responsibility. So the division of responsibility, where you'll be learning what your responsibilities are versus your child's responsibility when it comes to eating, or when it comes to feeding your child. The second will be a concept called 3-4-4, and how to plan your meals. So, has this ever happened to you? As parents, I know that this has likely happened to you. You guys all of you have children right now. And there are times when children will put up a fuss. They might be picky. They might either be eating too little, maybe too much. So, how many of you guys have, I want just with a show of hands, how many of you guys have seen this before? Whether it's with your child or with another child? Everybody. That's like 100% of it. So, the division of responsibility is really focusing on what your role is. And I have divided it up between infants and toddlers. So the first are the infants. From birth to 3 months is the first one. So you have a newborn. Your newborn baby has just come out of the womb, a nice safe haven right here. It's dark. And what your child wants to be doing is, what your responsibility is what to feed. So it will either come in 2 forms. It will either be breast milk, for the ladies of course, be breast milk or formula. So what you want to be doing here is allowing the child to decide everything else. So that is in how much to eat, whether the newborn wants to eat, what time or when or where, but the only control that you have in this stage is what. So you want to, for example, when you're breastfeeding or feeding with the formula, the child has control over how much or how little the child wants to eat. And even when he or she shows that they're done eating, then just let it stop. And then, so 7 to 15 months is a point where he might let you know whether he wants you to feed him or her. The infant will maybe refuse eating from the spoon by grabbing it. So something that you want to do is don't put up a fuss with it. Don't force feed your child at this stage. The child will let you know when he or she wants to stop. So offer soft or easily chewed foods that the child can handle. And this is at 2 to 3 months, this is when the infant really shows reciprocation. So if you're showing love and like your physical affection, they'll be able to reciprocate back. So he'll let you know when he wants to eat. And you also want to feed them while the infant is wide awake and calm. And start solids when the child can sit up. So this is at 2 to 6 months. Before then, they don't have physical control over their bodies. So when the child shows that he or she is able to sit up, and when you start moving the food towards his mouth, he or she will either open or not recognize that there is food coming towards his mouth. So if at this stage they don't recognize that there is solid food coming towards the mouth and they don't open up, then that means that they're not ready to start on solid foods. At 5 to 9 months, this is when your child you might be able to put your child on a high chair. So when you're feeding, if you're sitting down right here, you want to be able to put your child right in front of you on the high chair to be able to feed the solid foods to them. And again, at this point, they're more likely to be able to recognize that there is food coming towards their mouth. So it'll be okay to start on solid foods. It is at this point that you're able to offer a variety of different foods, easily chewed foods, not something really hard. No candy, nothing like that. Something easily chewed, maybe some pureed carrots, peas, some fruits maybe. And if your child refuses to eat from your spoon, then don't bother trying to force or doing this little like the playing things and making it seem like a game. It's not a game. You're not trying to entice them to eat. And then at 7 to 15 months, it's almost exactly the same thing. Do not refuse, and give them a lot of chances to learn to eat new kinds of foods. So in this stage, again, it is the what, but the child decides everything else. Over here, from toddler to adolescence. So your toddler will indicate that they want to start taking control over their eating habits. So from 11 to 36 months, which is about 3 years, they will be the ones they will be feeding themselves by this point. So again, at this point, you can offer the what you're offering, and the when. You want to be able to keep a regular schedule, and the where, probably at the dining table. But everything else, again, the child has control over. Their responsibility is to choose whether to eat the food and how much of it if she or she wants. So if all that he or she wants to eat bread, then don't comment, don't say anything, don't bribe. Don't bribe by saying like, oh, if you eat this, mommy or daddy will buy you ice cream. Oh, and also another thing is that you don't want to be preventing them from eating too much of something. Even if they eat too much of something, do not say anything. And this is a very psychological effect on your child, because if they feel prevented from eating, likely, if they know that they're being prevented from eating, likely they'll be wanting to eat more of it. So even if it's too much, that means it's okay. It's okay if they eat too much of it, because all that you're doing is offering the what, but then they have control over how much, and they need to learn to listen to their hunger cues. So none of the, oh, stop eating, or even stop eating if they're eating too much of something, or even the finish off every grain of rice on your plate. So what if your child is a picky eater? What will you do? Some things that you can do is teach them not to say things like yuck, right? Instead of saying yuck, they can say no thank you. And if they happen to maybe eat a new food and they don't like it at all, and they spit it out into their hands or something at your table, teach them to maybe put it into a napkin. It's table manners. And also, something with the picky eater is that you don't want to be the one just making everything that your child, the only things that they like. That is something that you do not want to be doing, because then they'll never learn to eat the varieties of foods. And the same thing with eating, if your child eats too little or too much, it's the same concept. Remember that they have control over how much and whether they do want to eat. But however, it is your responsibility as the parents to give a variety of, to offer a variety of healthy foods. So if you're offering soda, candy, junk food, just think about what you have in your own home right now. If that's all that you have in the house, that's all that will be offered to eat. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a role play right now. Could I have a volunteer, please? It'll be very simple. Jackie? Okay. So Jackie, you are going to be the parent, okay? You're going to be the parent, and this is we're going to be doing a little bit of a role play. So here we are, sitting at our table, eating our meal, and I am going to be the child. And here we have a delicious turkey sandwich right now, okay? And so we're going to start eating, and this is my identity, okay? So, oh, mommy, I don't like sandwich. Oh, so sorry. What I want Jackie to do is to respond. Okay. Oh, mommy, I don't like this. I don't like lettuce. I don't like eating it. I don't like tomatoes either. I think I'll just have the bread and the cookie.
Well, maybe you could put it in this napkin instead, so that you don't make a big mess on the table.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so that was a very simple role play. Thank you very much. Something that you want to be doing is, instead of focusing too much on the food, stop eating or eat more. Maybe bring up conversations on how you could, maybe bring up conversations on what your child did at school, for example. Okay? And could I have another, oh, so here we go. Teach a child to say no, thank you. Put out food that he or she might ordinarily eat. Teach to use napkins, and no comments on the eating habits. Could I have another volunteer? This time you're going to be the child, so you won't have to do anything. It's very easy. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So in this situation, I want you to tell me what's wrong. Okay, what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so here you are eating your sandwich. Oh, child, you're eating too much. Stop eating it. Stop eating it. Don't finish that up. Don't finish that. Oh my gosh. Stop it. Okay. What went wrong here?
I told her to choose eating too much.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm focusing again on the food. So maybe I can bring up conversations on how did your school day go? You know, what did you do? What did you learn today? You know, focus more on positive things. Okay. So thank you very much. And here is a concept. So that summarizes the division of responsibility. And in order to help you in your meal planning, I want to introduce a concept called 3-4-4. 3-4-4 stands for. Has anybody heard of it before? At all? Never? Okay, good. Because it was something developed by a local dietitian, so you shouldn't have heard of it if you haven't visited her yet. Basically, the first three are that there should be a variety from at least 3 food groups for breakfast. There should be 4 food groups for lunch and 4 for dinner. And the reason for this is to just cover all the varieties of foods to get nutritious meals. So, for example, in this food group, how can this meal be improved? There's only grains and milk right now. What can we add?
We got fruit.
Great. To lunch, how can this meal be improved? There should be 4 food groups if there's only 1. Meat, chicken on top of the salad,
Glass of milk.
Seasoning.
seasoning, okay. But is that part of the
Like,
food groups?
I left out.
That's okay.
Like salad dressing is a type of fat.
Okay, okay, it's a type of fat, but we're not going to be counting the fats right now, from the 5 groups that we're talking about. So maybe add a fruit, maybe to the meal, maybe with milk. And again, here we have 2 food groups. Maybe again we can add a milk to this meal, or maybe some cheese on the side. We're covering 4 food groups. Okay. So, and with that, I would like to thank you. So what you have learned here is, again, the division of responsibility and your responsibility versus your child's responsibility when it comes to feeding, and also 3-4-4 in order to be able to serve a healthy meal to your, so that your child gets the entire nutrition within their diet. So thank you very much.